No, it's like opening the oven when you're baking and the cake just collapses. What will happen if we cure UV resin whilst it's in the vacuum chamber? Is that gooey inside? Oh look, it is gooey inside. With loads of bubbles in it. We're gonna find out. So we are back with another crazy experiment. I really don't know how this one is gonna go, but I have a rough idea of how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use my UV lamp just to move it around whilst that UV resin is inside the vacuum chamber. It only has a 2-minute maximum cycle, so I'm going to have to keep turning the lamp on as the machine is running, but I'm going to run it on the 5-minute cycle. So the Resin's vacuum chamber has two settings. It has the 5-minute or the 9-minute, but I'm going to try it and see if it cures in just the 5 minutes. I have some different molds to choose from. I'm not sure which I'm going to go with. Some of these are going to be quite risky to put inside because the machine does vibrate and they're just probably going to fall over and just create a mess. I have a wider one here, but I'm wondering whether I could put it inside something to make it more stable. Now these you can put inside the cube molds, but I can't find my cube molds. I think that could work though. Maybe if I put some tack in the bottom of the machine, I can then hold that potentially in place whilst the machine is on. The first one I'm just going to keep it clear. I'm not going to do too much either because I don't know how much it's going to rise once it's in that vacuum. But I do want to try and mix in as many bubbles as I can into this resin because it's not really going to do anything if I just put clear resin in the machine and cure it. I mean, it's going to make no difference. So I want to see what will happen. I think I need more than that. If it contains lots of bubbles, and hopefully those bubbles will also magnify the UV light and bounce it around and cure it all the way through. It is an experiment, and I'm doing it so you don't have to. But you never know. We could unlock something that's never been done before and never been seen. This is what I love about experimenting. Okay, there's lots in there and I want to move fast because I don't want those bubbles rising to the surface and popping. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Get that in the machine as quick as we can. Is that gonna stay down? That is the question. Pop on the top and turn it on. Now I'm popping my mask on very quickly. I'm going to probably put this in. I'm going to speed it up. Okay, I had to remove the audio because it sounded like one of those annoying mosquitoes or gnats that fly around your ears. The vibration sped up didn't sound good at all. So I'm just angling the light all the way around the piece as the machine runs just to try and cure it as much as possible. Okay, so that has had its 5 minutes. I'm going to release the pressure and just see if anything changes. I think it's cured. Can't see any bubbles popping. Let's take off the head unit. Let's see what we've got. It held in place well. Actually, before I demold this, I think what I'm going to do, just to 100% make sure, sorry, my mask is halfway over my mouth, is just blast that again with a minute of UV light. Right, I'm pretty certain that's cured. The tip hasn't formed because there was a bubble in there. Spongy. It's not sticky. It sounds sticky, but it's not. It's spongy. Is it definitely cured? I want to look inside. Seems a shame, but I'm going to cut it open because I want to see what it's done potentially to the inside. Is it spongy the whole way through? That is the question. It's very strong for a spongy like resin. It's very strong. Be very careful. Don't want you wasting all your resin. No way. I was not expecting that. That is completely hollow. Look at that. So we've got the structure. I know it's bubbles. My mask keeps slipping up. But look at that. It's absolutely hollow. And it's the same thickness on each of those walls. And it's fully cured. Now that's crazy. So what if we now try and get a perfect pour, but maybe colour it? I don't know. And what if we put PVA glue inside? Will that change it? Let's find out. And I'm going to go all out. We've got this gemstone one. I don't know how much to put in there now because it does rise quite a lot. But then if it does rise too much, I can always cut that excess off. If it's going to give us the same hollow results, I don't know whether that was a fluke or whether it's going to happen again. And I'm adding a few drops of the Let's Resin blue liquid dye. And again, I'm just going to mix as many bubbles in there as I can. And I'm going to introduce a small bit of the clear Elmer's PVA glue because we've seen that thickens up the resin and we may get a different effect. Let's do that now. Just going to put a drop, one full drop, and that should really thicken up. Here it goes. Turn it really thick, really bubbly, lovely. Now I'm hoping this one doesn't bounce around. I've taken the tack out. And here we go again. It did vibrate around quite a bit, but it did stop after a little while. And I got a bit worried here because it started to boil a bit. That's where the resin has got quite hot. So it's just finding a route out through that cured surface. Okay, now it's quite a big mould, isn't it? I really don't think that's going to have cured through. This could collapse when I release, or yeah, it's collapsing. Right, so what do I do? Because it went back up again. Let's give it another couple of minutes without the machine running. Just try and aim that on the surface to harden it. Okay, I gave it another minute, but I still think it's going to do it. I'm just going to release the pressure valve really slowly. It's collapsing inwards. No, it's like opening the oven when you're baking and the cake just collapses in front of your eyes. Oh, is it coming back up? I don't know. Look at that, it's coming back up. Now, cakes don't do that. If only they did. Right, I'm going to repeat the same thing and just give that a really thorough cure all over. And do you know what? It doesn't feel as hot as what I would expect it to. Normally, when you cure a large amount of UV resin, it can get quite hot quite fast. Okay, so going back to the first pyramid, it's really solidified. It's not spongy anymore. It's really strong. So this one, where it's still warm, it's got flex, it's spongy. So I could let this cool down a bit more before I demold it, but I'm too impatient for that. Again, it's covered in bubbles, but I'd be interested to see what this looks like lit up. on like a lamp. But has it happened again? Is it hollow? I want to try and keep it straight so that it can be functional. I don't want to cut it the way I did that pyramid. Is that gooey inside? Oh look, it is gooey inside. Let's what I'm gonna do with that is pour it back into the mixing pot. So the light didn't cure all the way through that one. But it's not the end of the I've lost my words. We can just pour out that excess and then get that back under the lamp. Now that's all cured, I'm pretty amazed that we've practically filled that whole mould with less than half the resin that we needed. Okay, it's all bubbly, but I'm thinking of practical uses for this, because this could be decorated in any way to hide those bubbles. Sanded, painted, but again I want to see this on a light base and just see what it looks like. Right, I'm going to make one more. I'll skip that one though because you've seen what I'm doing. Right, so I'm pretty much blown away by this, and I've just done a sphere mold and it's exactly the same. It is hollow. I just did this for another platform, just as a short video. Now I've had an idea. I didn't expect this video to go this way. I didn't expect it to even do this. I bought these for a different project. I don't know whether this is going to work, but I have an idea just for this top section. It's just an idea because I know we're now left with that, but I wonder if I could get that to fit onside this one and pop one of those little light bulbs in that you've seen me use before. These little things where you pop the tab out. These last for days. So to achieve that, this top on this one is made of metal. I think I can bend those out. Let's try this. This is exciting. Let's pop that ball inside. Look at that, that's like a crystal. Let's get these prongs into here. See, I bought these last year and I never got around to doing anything with them. It's not going to be perfect, but I could glue that in place. With the light in the right place, look at that. You could make blue crystal baubles. That light's not brilliant in there though, is it? Right, let's try this on this one on an LED wooden base and see what we get. I have a color changing one or I have a plain one. We're going to try the plain one first. As always, guys, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment if you haven't subscribed, hit that button for me. Is this a game changer? I hate, as much as I hate saying it, I think this is, and this could be worked on for so many different ideas. I'm wondering small pendants that we can then fit the ball inside, similar to the bauble idea. Also, could this be done with figurines? Could it be done with, say, larger sphere molds? I don't know. I want to play around with it more before I can say, try this at home. If you want to risk it, that's up to you, but I have put the warning in. Again, it looks like a crystal. It's not perfectly flat on the bottom, I know. But look at that light up. My phone's not focusing on it properly. Let's make it darker. There it is in the dark. Really does sparkle off camera. And it's given a really nice effect around the room as well. Look at that. It's like a blue nebula on my ceiling. That is incredible. And that's on the wall, a little bit closer. That is amazing. So now imagine that on a rotating light base. That would be this is something brand new. This is something I've not seen before. And this is on the color changing one. It's really hard to get a focus on this, especially when it's changing colors. The color is so strong on the camera. Let's see what it does on the ceiling. Look at that. Let's see it go through a few colors. It's not really the same effect as the clear one on some of the colors. Look at that one. That is crazy. I might have to try and go to sleep with this. Hopefully it will turn my brain off from thinking about resin all the time. It is really hard to get on camera. Look at that. That is something incredible, isn't it? And that is the magnification from all those tiny bubbles bouncing the light around. And this one is the small sphere one. You can see some really interesting patches that look like they could be galaxies. When it changes colour, they do also. And there it is, just on its own. It's a little bit too small for this light base, but it also looks a little bit like a moon in some of the colours. So to summarise, the experiment was a success. Absolute success. While they don't look brilliant in the daylight, actually I think they do. I don't know if you've got that fear of holes that could affect you in some way. But I'm blown away by the fact that we can create hollow pieces of resin art. Right, I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.